All right. Welcome everybody to this opportunity to just spend a few minutes together. If you are one of the lucky people who get to make community and watch some kids' joy expand over the course of our couple of weeks of summer fun camp. This is, I would say, the third year Eden's done it, and with Redeemers co-sponsorship, kind of at this scale of 25, 30 young folks. We're very excited and want to just continue the tradition of reminding our parents that we are radically available to you for Q&A, for tweaking experiences as we are able to make sure that all of our kids have a really awesome experience. So in today's meeting, we're just going to review a few things, maybe share things you don't know, but kind of recap some of the stuff we've put in the letters, give you a sense of the daily flow, and then most importantly, have a chance to introduce ourselves maybe a little bit more fully to you, and for you to have a chance to share any specific questions or concerns that you have or ideas that you have that would make the best experience possible. So I think we'll be focused with this. We're available as long as it takes. But if there are things we don't attend to fully or that you think of after the fact, feel free to email us and we'll be very glad to address that. Let's start first with just some introductions. I'll have Larry and Sarah follow me on introducing yourselves. Gwen will as she joins, and then we'd love to hear from you, the parents, on the call tonight. So I'm Jackie. I am the pastor of Eden Church and have been there about 10 years, first as associate and then as pastor for about 6.5. And I've been helping with this particular program, which has gone through some different permutations. Larry can speak to that as well, but really for the entire time I've been on staff, there has been some version of cool summer programming, experiential learning, field trips, or summer camp for neighborhood youth and in a collaborative way. There have been some times in the past when those sessions maybe were a little bit more structured for learning. We had some field trips on the theme of global citizens. We've done some learn about the city trips. Um, this nice model that's been developed here for the last handful of years, which is, a lot of play and some specific child popular field trips with I would say no structured lesson time for sure, but a real mindfulness about how to start the day in a positive, constructive, collaborative way, helping in those implicit ways to have the kids name that they're valuable, that they can be good teammates and friends, that they can learn about the world without any kind of like heavy-handed religious programming. That's been our heart for uh, these last few years. And I would say my favorite part of camp. This is the last part of my introduction. My favorite part of camp, you know, I have to say my favorite part of camp is to see those moments where kids are making new friends or taking on kind of a new sense of capacity or adventure, maybe beyond what they or their parents thought they were capable of at the beginning. Just those sweet moments of connection or growth, and just to see it happen naturally and in small ways. Really love that. I also love the fact that we take so many pictures and make those available in such a fresh way with the daily link. That's really fun to kind of capture that each day. So we're continuing with our introductions. Larry, would you like to say something brief in terms of introduction, and Gwen and Sarah?
Absolutely. Yeah. Um, the idea for Fun Camp started, well, for me, quite a few years ago in 2011. I was working at staffing at a Democratic school in the western suburbs, and I came up with this idea for doing a camp that was focused. It was really child focused and focused on not necessarily your typical like adult led things, but rather things that the kids could, they could explore themselves and pursue their interests and that type of thing. And About 7, 8 years ago, when I came to Eden, we kind of resurrected that in a slightly different form. Of course, it is a little more structured than what I used to run, but it has been, we've done a lot of different things like Pastor Jackie was saying. We used to do things like Global Citizens, and there was another thing we did, Feed My Starving Children. We went to that a couple of times. This was mostly before the pandemic, and a lot of this stuff changed quite a bit. But
Right.
anyway, but it was probably a little more faith-based, because it was more church youth that we were working with. But as time has gone on, especially with our after-school program, we've
Mm.
become, it's become more community oriented. And so, but we tried to keep the activities and opportunities unique
Mhm.
and child focused, things that the kids
Mhm.
really like doing. And a lot of that comes from having conversations with the kids and listening to their responses and
Mhm.
what they really enjoy and that type of thing. So anyway, I'm looking very much forward to it. I think we have a great team this year. I am blown away by how many we have enrolled in camp this year, and I think we're going to have a lot of great memories and a lot of fun. So anyway, I personally have been working at a Eden as a building and program host for a number of years now. And I have to say, this is one of my pride, and this is my pride and joy, or one of them, I should say. It's the church's pride and joy, and I'm so glad to have Redeemer of Calvary um, with us as a joint team effort and so forth.
Oh, we couldn't do it
They
without you.
they've been absolutely wonderful, and I love how the team has come together every year, and we put stuff together. I believe this is the fourth
Great.
year
Yeah.
this year. We
That
started
that we've
just
co-sponsored.
after the
Mhm.
the worst of the pandemic. We started in the summer of 21. So anyway, it's changed form a little bit in
Great.
this current rendition, but I think it's really been growing very nicely. So that's all I have to say. If anybody has any questions of me, feel free to ask.
Thanks, Larry. Gwen, a brief introduction from you, whatever you would want to say about your wizards, whether you call them wizards or not.
Oh, I like
And
that title.
give our folks a sense of what to expect after you introduce yourself.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I'm Gwen Carlson, and I'm from the Redeemer of Calvary Church, which is the neighbor church at the other end of the block. And it's always fun to work with Jackie and Larry and Sarah and all the other wonderful people who are down there. I've attended Redeemer for, well, many, many, many decades. So I've known many of the people from Eden, in the past. So it's a good connection. It's a good
Mm.
connection. And I enjoy doing the summer camp. It gives us a way to be creative because we especially like working with crafts. I am a retired teacher, so I enjoy being with children. It's kind of fun to be with them, then learn from them too. They come out with great pearls of wisdom some days. And
Mhm.
so we try to have crafts that are not so much purchase materials, but things that we can kind of recycle and use and repurpose in a different way. And then you give them the kids the basic idea, and then they can create, they can take it further. So it's kind of fun to see what they come up with all the times too. You go, I wish I had thought of that idea. But
Mhm.
so we're looking forward to that this year. And I have Lee and Marilyn will be with us and Pastor Naomi. So together, we hope to have a good time the few days when we're down at our place.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Sarah?
Thanks, Gwen.
You're welcome.
Sure. I'm Sarah. I think I met both of you and a couple others at the campfire last night. It was very nice. I'm the Minister of Community Care at Eden. I've been there for about 3 years. So I think pretty much every year that we've been doing summer camp post-pandemic, I've been there for. Started out originally as an intern and then started as a staff member. And I'm very excited for camp again this year to get to know some of our new kids and kind of as Pastor Jackie was saying, see all the different friendships and connections the kids build over the few weeks. So I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah, great, great. Great. So we have a couple parents on the line. If at least 2 or 3 or 4 would be just so glad if you could reintroduce yourselves aloud on the screen. Let us know which of your children are coming, if it's their first or returning time. Maybe anything else you want us to know about the kids and their school and such. Go ahead.
I can start. I'm Nicole. I'm Joey's mom, and this is his first time coming here. He's joining a couple of his buddies that have been there in the past, and he's 9 years old and really looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
And we should call him Joey, not Joseph, right?
Yeah, he's a Joey.
Okay, very
Yeah, he
good.
was telling me Joey yesterday. You can call me Joey. So,
Yes.
I
He
saw-
Joey
changes
it will
his mind
be.
sometimes.
I saw Joseph in writing somewhere, maybe, possibly. Yeah,
Yes.
Joey, very good. All right, how about the car on the way to Michigan?
Hi, this is Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
And hi, Larry. How are you?
Okay, how are
Um,
you?
Good. So my sons Bobby and Benji will be attending this year. It's their first year. Bobby is 7 and will be going into 2nd grade at Thorpe, and Benji is 5 in a week. So he's on the younger side. He will be going to into kindergarten at Thorpe in the fall. So my understanding is that I will be chaperoning and by Benji's side during camp. So any information on how I can also be helpful to the group would be great. Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Also, thank you for not trying to do the call while you were driving. Very responsible citizenship there. And we'll think together about that, about those contributions. I think it makes me feel very happy and, sorry, I'm having technical difficulties. It makes me very grateful to know that parents are, available, considering how to be helpful, but also feeling comfortable kind of experimenting and figuring out what feels needed in order to feel comfortable that their child will have the best time possible. So thanks for being one of those.
Yes, I certainly don't want to get in the way, but I also want to be respectful to the group because Benji is on the younger side and will need more, or may need more care at times.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'll follow your lead.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
And I'll just say, officially, for both of your benefits, we've Nicole and Sharon, we've always had the official policy that the camp is for 6 to whatever, 13 or 14. But each year we've made the exception to let a 5-year-old in when there's a setting of a connection with a sibling, and a sense of, we're we want to be careful about that, make sure the youngest ones have the best experience possible. But it's not the first time that we've felt comfortable with a 5-year-old joining the team, and we're confident we'll have a great time together. Well, let's shift gears a little bit and just I just want to talk a little bit. I don't want to beat the topics of schedule and stuff, because you've gotten a few emails and obviously you have the flyer with the sites and focus of each day. But Just to briefly recap that, you know, there are 3 days when there's field trips. One of them being a little bit closer, the North Park Nature Center, the other two being in Schaumburg at Waterworks and Legoland. On the other days that were kind of more local, if you will, for the day, we'll start at Eden every single day. That's where the campfire was last night. And we'll do kind of an orienting icebreaker focus, wake up together kind of series of activities. We often do that outside, actually, on the lawn at Eden, and then trot down to the other end of the block, just a block east, which is where the Redeemer Church is. Those craft tables are set up there in their basement, in their pleasant air-conditioned basement. And Gwen and her team will be leading. I understand a variety of craft things with a sensitivity to the age variety, right?
Right, we're trying, yeah.
Yeah. There'll be a water and healthy snack break at some point during the morning. And then we're gonna come back to Eden for our lunch break. We'll have the kids' backpacks. It's our plan to have the team as a whole leave their backpacks at Eden for that morning, unless there is something of medical necessity or a snack necessity that we're aware of ahead of time. And, you know, we'll just make sure to make provisions for that. Either we'll be sure one of the adults brings that backpack over, or that the youth has what they need. So that's not a stressful thing, but it'll be logistically easier to leave all that stuff at Eden, come back and have that lunch break. And then there'll be open gym time upstairs. We have that variety of table games and other things upstairs, fort making. There may be days where we go outside to the parsonage yard and do something. There's a park just 2 blocks away at Laverne and Lawrence that has playground equipment and swings and a nice run and play area. Roberts Square Park, of course, is just north and west of the church, a handful of blocks. And so, you know, we'll divide up our adult and junior leaders. We have a good batch of them every single day. You know, to be mindful of the kids as we sprawl out in those ways. And, you know, each person will kind of be in charge of a set number of people to keep their eyes on. So that will be executed, I think, enjoyably. And it's, you know, we often make decisions based on weather. Of course, we're not going to drag them out in the rain. If we're going to go outside to the parks, sometimes we incorporate that in the morning time instead of the afternoon time with the sensitivity to heat. We always bring along plenty of water and mindful of encouraging and reminding people for their water break. Yeah, so that's kind of big picture of the rhythms of the day. And then at the end of the day, usually within a couple hours of the end of the day of the camp day, you'll get an email with reminders about the next day, a link to the pictures that have been uploaded so far, and you know, anything that bears repeating or that we've learned that day, just so that you stay as closely connected to the experience, you know, as you might want to. Let's turn to some of any questions about that before we talk a little bit more about values and philosophy. General questions or any specific day. No, Nicole, do I remember that you said last night that there's a chance you might drive to Schaumburg on the 12th?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm interested in connecting with you after the meeting about that. And
Okay.
that could be a win-win for us. So
Okay.
great. And then just want to welcome, we have a friend who's joined us on the phone with the number that ends in 025. Which lucky parent are you?
Hi, everyone. Elizabeth. I'm Eric and Emmy's mom.
Very
Hi,
good.
Elizabeth.
Glad
Hi,
you're-
Larry. How are you?
Glad
Okay,
you-
how are you?
Good.
Very good. Glad you're with us.
Thank you.
I put a draft agenda in the chat just a couple minutes ago. I think you can follow along with the logic of the conversation, Elizabeth, and interrupt me or anyone if there's something that's possibly missed by not seeing that. So some of the values and philosophy important to us for a good time. You know, my 2 cents is balance, balance, balance. But I'm going to turn to Larry maybe to start the conversation. We'll spend just 3 or 4 minutes on this piece. But if you were trying to give an elevator speech about what values or philosophy are important to us for a good time, how would you start the conversation, Larry?
Well, I think probably similar to what I was saying earlier is, I think that our program it's child oriented, and it's kind of like oriented more toward what the kids might be interested in, and what their likes are, and trying to foster and support that, as opposed to being like, adult created and adult made programs that are dispensed to the kids.
Mhm,
I don't know if if that makes sense to everybody. I'm thinking it probably does, but if you have any questions, feel free to direct them my way.
Well, one of the things that arises from for our colleague Larry is some previous educational leadership opportunities in school settings where that was very much the philosophical norm, child-directed experiences through the day. I think what you see at play as it reflects here in the Eden Redeemer experiences is, back to this theme of balance, and that there's structure in terms of starting and ending the day. We learned over the last few years, of course, that for all of us, and for some of our young ones in particular, having a kind of sense of reliability or predictability about the schedule. That we do certain kinds of things in the morning, and then we're going to do certain kinds of things in the afternoon, like, they can't wait to play in the gym. That's been helpful. So certainly the schedule has structure. I was giving a group of folks a tour, a couple of tours in the building last night. And Nicole, I can't remember if you were part of this one or if it was before you, but
Yes. Oh, sorry.
yeah, one of the ways I was trying to express this value of following the kids' lead, like let's say in the building, is that we've got these 3 rooms where activities might be going on at any one time, 4 if you count the quiet room. And we're so pleased that we have a good volume of adult and junior leaders. We will be divvied up with eyes on every room all the time, or eyes on a certain activity that's happening all the time, and not enforcing on the kids that they need to do this for 15 minutes and then do that for 30 minutes, and then that they really opt for the kind of thing they want to do next, of the things, of the buffet of things available, and we take responsibility to watch out for their safety and their happiness and their learning opportunities if something doesn't go well, and they have a chance to kind of resolve that with each other and with our help. And so available and engaged, but not directing them. Now the craft wizards in the morning have enough direction that the kids have what they need to make what they want to make, right, Gwen?
Correct.
Yeah. Anything you might want to add, Gwen or Sarah, as we're trying to talk about some of these value points that we are cultivating over these years?
And I think as they're doing like when they're engaging in crafts, and they have a time to talk to those who are surrounding them. So that's one way of getting to know somebody else too. And it's in a nice, like a calm setting of doing crafts. Everyone's creative, and then you watch what they're doing and go, oh, that's a good idea. So I think it engages them in conversation, and it's a way to get to know somebody in a nice, a nice manner.
Mhm,
So I
mhm,
think that's the benefit too of crafts.
mhm, mhm.
So, and that it is a little bit more structured, but still they can be as creative as they want. So
Mhm.
there's not a right or wrong way to do it.
And you'll have the kids this year at tables of no more than 5, you said,
Right,
and
they're
so
they're
plenty
gonna
of
be
room.
because with the crafts, some of these crafts, you need a little bit of elbow room. And so won't have too many kids at one table. So I think it's a little bit better. You're not infringing on someone else's space that way too.
I
So,
always enjoy the creative challenge of helping to honor and stretch the kids who might not immediately be excited about an opportunity to do a craft. I have deep sympathy and empathy for that because that's who Jackie is too. I'm not historically the person who loves to sit down and do a craft. Although if I were under Gwen's care, maybe I would have grown up more open to that.
I'm
You
gonna
know,
have a spot for you on Monday. You're gonna do
yeah,
it.
sit me down, sit me down. But say maybe some of the older kids, or maybe the guys think the craft is not a guy thing, or people have their kind of immediate eh. And to help them connect with it, without it being this oppressive, overhanded, like,
Right,
well, doctrinaire thing, like there's something wrong with you if you don't like crafts. And
right,
sometimes, it's fun with sometimes the slightly older ones who might not be exactly into it might get into helping someone else do theirs, right?
correct.
Um,
It has
or
benefits.
or having a debate with Jackie about the craft, but to do that in a way that just lavishes affirmation on them, this would be a value for me, especially since this is in no way any kind of sectarian programming. um People might have their stereotypes about what a church-based camp might be, and that might be that it might be heavy on some kind of expectation, even if it's not like teaching and doctrinally oriented. This is not that camp. For me, it's about affirmation, 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 and the responsible adult structure within the responsible adult structure. Sarah, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered most of the week pretty well so far.
Yeah, great. Any questions or conversations here among the parents? If there's something that maybe you have heard or haven't heard that you'd be curious about. All right. Very good. I don't know if this is high on people's curiosity list, but I did have a thought that maybe Gwen would want to say something about the kinds of crafts that's been done in the past, or that's on the docket for this year.
Well, in the last 2 years, we made robots strictly out. The kids were just given, they could select their own boxes, their own shape, and then we had all kinds of materials and things that they could do to come up with their robot. So that was fascinating. But they could just pick and choose what they wanted it to look like, and some were pretty cool with the type of hair they had or didn't have, or the type of arms or legs or how they decorated them. So that's part of the creativity part. And some are kind of stark too, but that was okay. That's the way they envisioned them, so it was all right. So we've done things like that, and since are you going to the nature center and Laba Woods? We're going to do a few crafts with twigs found on this walk that when you go on the walk with the twigs. So it's trying to think about nature too, to tie it in. So that's what we're coming up with for this year. Recycling things to use. So it should be fun.
I love that. You gave me a new creative idea about
Okay.
theming kinds of things. I try to be the queen of the implicit theme. And little teaching moments or helping them make connections between the experiences that they're having. Sarah, give us a sense of a recap on registration. Maybe not lots of detail, but again, quantity, ranges. What would you like folks to know about the registration?
Sure. So, looking at the registration for the 2 weeks, sorry, our first week is definitely a bit more packed week. Our first week will have between 33 and 34 kids, depending on the day. Some kids aren't coming every day in the first week, so it's a bit of a mix. And then the second week, we'll be having between 30 and 31 kids, depending on the day, because also all the kids aren't coming all the days. I think our average age for the camp is around 8 or 9 years old, but there's a really good spread this year between, we have like a group of like 6 and 7 year olds, and we also have up to like our almost junior leader age, like at like 12 and 13. So we have a good age range this year among our kids. Looking at the registration, I think about half of our children are returning and have been at camp either 1 or 2 of the past 2 years, and then half of our kids are new. And I feel like majority are coming with siblings, but we also have about half to a third that are coming on their own. I think that's most of any other info we would want to give.
No, just open it up if there are any other questions that any of the parents might have about registration stuff. I was just doing a kind of recount on. I have a skinny margin of error on this, but I think in terms of adult and junior leaders over the course of the couple of weeks, I am counting between 15 and 20, maybe between 18 and 20 different committed people, known to us because they're either members of our churches or have been volunteers with our after school program or co-workers in some other child oriented space or scouting, for instance. We have 3 junior leaders who have been with us as campers or leaders for a minimum of 3 years, who are in the age range of 13 to 16, and a nice intergenerational spread. I don't want to say anything about who might be on the older end of the volunteer list, but I think we have volunteers literally from the late teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond. And I'm pretty happy about that.
I think also we plan to have about 6 to 7 like adult leaders every day. So that's around 1 to 5 kids, and then junior leaders on top of that.
Yeah, right. Very good. Well, and of course that relates in a key way to our plans for safe, timely, orderly fun on our field trips. One of the things that we've done each year is make sure that the kids all on the field trip days have a bright colored t-shirt. Larry can describe what color we ordered this year.
Yeah,
but-
we ordered well, the color when the speaker on Zoom is speaking, that color, like that little box that becomes a bright yellow green, that's kind of the color of the t-shirts this year. Very easy to spot. We also would encourage parents have a pack for their kids brightly colored swimwear and so forth, because it's easier to spot in the water, like on the day that we go to the park, to the water park. And also, any other things that your child might need that are specific. Sunblock is always helpful. Bug spray is always helpful. We do have some of those things on hand, but feel free to pack some of your own, as well as a full complete lunch and a snack each day.
Yeah, so we'll be tending to making sure that there's a snack and adequate hydration, of course, throughout it. Adult ratio, you heard, bright t-shirts. On our field trip days, we downloaded from the universe a great idea. What do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yep.
A few years ago, and we'll have identifying name tags. Well, not on the swim day. On the swim day, we're going to think of a different thing, but with the contact information of the core adult leaders, right? So when we go to North Park, for instance, and to Legoland, every kid's name tag will have, Larry's and my name and phone number on it. So just like little things like that, we just really try to be attentive to.
And our phones will be open, will be available for texting as well as voice calls.
Thank you. This this is a good reminder. So definitely available to you throughout the day. We will have all of your contact information, obviously, organized in a way that we can access in seconds should we need. Also, what we've done for each of the last several years is at the very beginning of the day, starting a text thread that has all of the adult and junior leaders on the text thread. You're the volunteers for today. And we literally throughout the day, uh, uh, you know, I don't want to pick a kid's name because we have so many volunteers. I might actually pick Reggie's name, but let's say Jackie's having a rough day. You know, Jackie could use some extra support. I think so and so and so and so might benefit from going down to the quiet room, right? I feel like I could use a couple more adults up here in this room at this moment, right? And just very, very, I love this. It's like our way of helicoptering without being in the kids' way. And that's just really been helpful for us to be a great team serving a good number of kids in multiple rooms, right? Or on a field trip, you know, literally, you know, maybe not always 100% within sight of each other. So I think that probably exhausts that specific topic. Does anybody have any questions about those things, or may sense some gap I didn't name?
Think so.
I actually have a question, if our child is gonna be absent or if there's a need for an early pickup or something, do we have to contact anybody, or is it just if they don't show, you know that they're not there?
Yeah, you know, it certainly would be very helpful to us if you contacted us. That way we could pivot. We'd know, you know, when we got to 100% for the day, and not that we're still waiting, you know,
Right.
for 1 or 2 or 3 kids. So yeah, please drop us a text.
Is there a specific number that you would want to reach out? Because I know that the volunteers and people are gonna be changing day to day.
There is some change from day to day. I think Larry would be the best number to use in
Right.
terms of someone who's there every single day.
And I'll put it in
I-
the chat. I'll put my number once again in the chat column so that you
Yeah.
have it. And Jackie would be the other, I think.
Yeah, you should use both of us. Yeah, and there's one day that I'm missing. But the Redeemer team, you know, are going to be focused on craft stuff in the morning, and not necessarily as convenient to text them as us.
Thank you.
Yep. And those numbers too, I think both of our cell numbers are also in the daily letter to the parents.
Right.
So that'll be helpful to keep it handy for folks. Any other questions or comments? All right. Well, we're very excited. We're honored to serve your young ones, and you know, just want you to know that being good community together for each other is a core value for both of our sponsoring institutions. And you know, while we're taking on a significant responsibility, and hope that you experience some you know, some break or benefit from having a chance to have a different routine for your day, we also want you to know that we strive to have a humble and collaborative spirit. So if there's something you think of that you think we could add or that we might have done differently, you know, I really take seriously that we're co-creating this in the right way being giving you a gift of some extra time, maybe. But we take seriously the honor of serving your family in this time. So please don't hesitate to be in touch. We've recorded this session for the sake of those who might value listening to it, who couldn't be with us in person. I'm gonna end the recording here as we adjourn, but I'll stay on the line. Perhaps others from the team can. If there's anyone here who has any concerns that you'd like to name that aren't a part of the official recording, warmly invite you to also contact us individually if you would prefer. So
Definitely.
thanks everyone for spending time on this busy day, and
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate
Yep.
your time.
Travel well, and
Yes, enjoy your trip and be safe.
yeah, very good. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody, and